All right. We're going to be looking at Hydra versus Python. And I'll just give you some thoughts. Okay, so first thing I notice is why are these houses like next to you unless you're doing I guess a cheese or something? Yeah, okay. Okay. I guess we'll be two denning on both sides. Yep, okay. So one thing I would probably not want to do is if I do see it's a wolf versus wolf, I would probably try to go across the map to see if it is a two den, just because that is a lot of information. So yeah, it's just valuable information to have. Is this a one den? Is this a two den? I wouldn't look to fight in the middle. Like if you go across and see the additional two wolves coming, that's going to be information that you have and your opponent might not have if they don't decide to go across the map as well. Um, so that's just a little bit of a something. Other than that, if you do end up fighting, I do like that Python you're pulling back so that you can try to take a fight with more wolves versus your opponent. But yeah, we'll see how this goes. So essentially, it's just going to come down to micro and when you guys decide to transition. So we see this, we know it's a two den basically from both sides. Yeah, so you both should know it is a two den. And it's just going to come down to pullback micro and all of that. Hydra is going to be supply blocked. So one thing I'm noticing from both of you is that you are continuing to build workers, which can work for sure. Especially if you, but like you do need to be on top of when you're going to be supply locked and all of that. So it looks like Hydra, you're looking to go for a base. Python looks like not quite just yet. But yeah, we'll see how this goes. Yeah, Hydra also you're cutting the wolves, so I guess Python, if you're thinking about doing more wolves, you should already have a house on the way. And like instead of queuing up these two workers, that should be a house, and or else you're just going to be supply blocked. If you are going to be expanding like Hydra is, I think this is good. I probably would have cut the additional worker here. So instead of going for, what is this, 10, 12, 13 workers, I would have stayed at 12 workers and then went for the castle, but not a huge issue. But I think definitely here being supply blocked is going to be a very huge issue. Unless, I guess looks like you're deciding to, no, just chill. Yeah, see, this supply block is going to be pretty big. So once you recognize that it's a two den versus two den, the key thing is you got to take a look at and see when is your opponent taking that natural base. When is your or are if they're not taking the natural base, maybe they're going for like a third den, maybe they're going for dragons, maybe they're going for like snakes or something. So it's really important to have like a wolf be on the other side of the map just to get that scouting. And Hydra is doing pretty much that with this single wolf. Yeah, that's something that you definitely want to be doing. And yeah, this is that big supply block. It looks like Python, you're just going to say, okay, I'm just going to take a base because I'm supply blocked, but I'm noticing that you did go for this tower. I guess it kind of makes sense. This wolf is also going to come in and see that there is a worker there, and this is a bit of a tell that there is a natural base that is going to be on the way. Would have liked to see you just pull another worker just to build the castle and the tower at the same time. Python, unfortunately, not able to grab this. So what I would do probably if I was you, Hydra, is after you see like where his wolves are, you don't need your wolves on your side of the map right now, right? So I would have liked to see these wolves be a bit more aggressive, like once you've seen these wolves, of course, right? Because they're on his side of the map. Maybe like you leave them like here-ish, and then as soon as you pull back like around here, that's when you come in. Maybe try to snipe the worker, that sort of thing. Yeah, and then once again, just the two workers here instead of just the one would be probably ideal. And you're gonna send that right now. Yeah. Yeah, and I see that you're gonna send your wolves out to be a bit more of an aggressive stance. So that's very nice. Python looks like you're gonna go into more dens, perhaps. So I'm not a huge fan of going for additional dens in the beast versus beast matchup unless, okay, yeah, if you're going for snakes as well, sure, that makes sense. But the reason being is that generally in this matchup, and here we're supply blocked here, I feel like if you had completely spent all their time actually producing the castle instead of doing the split, because this is like, what, 22 seconds? Yeah, I don't think you would have been as supply blocked here. You probably wouldn't have needed to build this house. Maybe you still would have, but like, I don't know. If you didn't, yeah. So having that second worker there being working on that is nice. But in the beast versus beast matchup, werewolves are insanely good, and also dragons. So I find that most players, or at least at the highest level, don't go for this sort of wolf snake versus wolf snake sort of thing in the beast versus beast matchup, because once dragons are out, once werewolves are out, it's kind of really hard for the wolf snake to get a little bit of value. So I think Python going for this, I guess, more dens is kind of risky. It can work out, but we'll have to see. Of course, Iran being very talkative in the chat, as he often is. And also, like, if you know your opponent is going for this base, ooh, that's a little bit sloppy here. Nice pick off out of Python here, getting a wolf for free. Even getting a second one looks like, oh, is going to barely escape. Cool. Looks like going for a third base. So this is very risky. But like, I guess it makes sense going for the tower and the stuff. Like, I don't mind it, but I think it is definitely risky. I would have preferred to see you do a scout first before trying to go for this. Like going in with, I don't think you know about this. Yeah, you don't know about the third den here. I would have preferred to see like a wolf go in instead of like just chilling at the potential third base locations. I would prefer to see the wolf go in, see, hey, there's another wolf's den. Maybe even if you see the snakes, you think, okay, I don't really need to take this third base. But that is just something for you. Python, I like that you're being aggressive out on the map because you do need to get that information. You haven't seen much out on Hydra's side of the map just yet. You've been very defensive. And yeah, so definitely do like that you're moving out. Wish you could have done this a little bit earlier, though. Looks like you're thinking against going for this. Gonna come back. It looks like that's might have been canceled, but not quite. This house, you'd probably want this over here to defend against, you want to SimCity this off, ideally, to prevent any sort of run by or anything like that. Yeah, I don't think this is a great position for a house. We have the werewolves den coming in for Python. So he looks like he's going to do some sort of snake werewolf push. This needs to be scouted ASAP out of Highdra. I'm not sure if that was a reaction to seeing this watchtower. I think if it was, I think that's a great idea. It makes sense because this probably means Hydra's going to look to take a third base. A little bit of sloppy control here out of Highdra. Almost loses a wolf there, but that's okay. It happens. I was able to slip away as well. I'm noticing that Highdra, you're cutting some workers. I guess if you're afraid of some sort of attack coming in, That would make sense. Okay, or additional wolves and a snake. Okay, makes sense. Got a bit of a worker transfer back into the main. And Python going for a third base of his own. But yeah, if I would make a prediction, I'd say these werewolves absolutely smash. And Python kind of takes it if he continues to build these werewolves. I love the spreading out over here. Hydra's going to come in and see the third base timing, which is nice. I also don't really think these towers were that necessary, to be honest. Because I guess part of it is you saw the natural base timing, and that's why you wanted to go for this. But and it also delayed your castle quite a bit. I guess I don't hate it, but probably could have cut those corners a little bit here. Would like to see some workers being transferred over here from the main, but not a huge issue. I like this wolf coming into scalp. A little bit of a missed hold position, I think, out of Python here. That does mean this wolf is going to scout this werewolf. Okay, so this is a pretty big scout. It is going to see the timing of the werewolf as well. And this is going to be a very difficult hold for Highdra, if I'm not mistaken. What is he going to do? Throwing down a house? Once again, probably should have done this a little bit better. I feel like these wolves could have definitely taken care of that a little bit earlier. But yeah, we have this push, and this is going to be very tough for Highdra. So werewolves... Okay, we're not going to push? I'm not quite sure why you're not pushing here, Python. You know that... Is there a reason? I'm not quite sure why. But I feel like you should generally look to push out with your first werewolf. I guess you might be a little bit afraid of some sort of counterattack, but you do have that second werewolf on the way to defend. Yeah, I'm not really sure why you're not going across the map here. Looks like we have a fortress on the way. We have animal testing lab on the way over here. Yeah, so we're gonna move out, but it's gonna be a little bit too late for my liking. This is a nice surround, but you don't want to... Okay, but what ends up happening is we kind of start the fight down, like, with half of our army. Thankfully, we're able to escape, but that was nearly disastrous here. This is also being very defensive. I'm not quite sure why you're not just walking in. I guess you're afraid of a big surround, but, like, this werewolf absolutely just wrecks. Good clearing out of this for the fourth base. Looks like Python trying to do a bit of a surround here. So you want to have your werewolves at the front to tank all the damage, and also get close enough for a smash. This I really think that this attack should have been a lot more devastating. If the werewolf with the innate 4 armor means that these snakes do less than half damage. Right, so just walking in with a single werewolf initially would have been huge, but right now you're giving Highdra time to get his own werewolves. Then he also has a fortress, so he could be going for dragons. Yeah, it's scary to walk into watchtowers, but in the Beast versus Beast mirror, werewolf is king. You're also going to go... I guess the idea behind is I'm going to take a fourth base, therefore I don't need to throw away my army, which is, sound reasoning, but I still think that just going in with this werewolf would have been a big move. Whoops. It's actually... I need to fix that. Not the best smash here. I feel like you could have Wait a little bit more. Good surround on these snakes. Yeah. So generally, if you are playing wolf snake, snakes are very, very, very fragile. They're only 80 health. Yeah, 80 health, and the wolf is double the health, right? So these are like glass cannons, like Hydras, except they're even more glass cannons. If your snakes get surrounded, that is absolutely horrible. They'll just get melted. I feel like in terms of army comp, you have way too many snakes as Hydra here, I think. And also, if you don't have like, I guess the good number that you want to have is you need to have enough wolves to hold your front line while everything else is snakes in like generally. But if you try to do like a bigger, more of a, I want to do a surround, then you get more surface area. You need more wolves, right? And especially in the wolf versus wolf mirror here, or beast versus beast mirror. If it was against like racks, maybe it would be a little bit better to have this high number of snakes. But in this particular case, these snakes aren't going to be able to get that the value that they would need to that they want to have. Yeah, so they're kind of just, yeah, they're not worth the money here. You need to have a good front line for the snakes to actually deal the damage. And yeah, so the ratio, it depends on how what the army compositions are and stuff. But I'd probably say you generally want to be making a lot more wolves than snakes, which kind of seems counterintuitive, but the idea is your wolves will be the ones that are taking the damage, and therefore those are the ones that are actually going to be going down. And ideally, you don't want to lose any snakes. Yeah, it's kind of like in Zerg where you have Ling Hydras. You want to have a lot more. If you go only Hydras, they can just get melted. You need to have that buffer at the front. But I guess a little bit more extreme because I feel like snakes are a lot more fragile. And I think that's just gonna be it. Especially, there's nothing to do with these werewolves, and yeah, this is just completely over. There's a fourth base on the way as well. I think this is a bit of a, I don't know how to play Beast because I haven't played, like Beast ever for Hydra here. So just in the Beast versus Beast meta, like I said previously, werewolves are king on the ground. Dragons are really good, and then that's more or less it. You kind of need, if you're going against dragons, you go for either dragons yourself or ballista. Ballista werewolf is good if your opponent is going for dragons. But yeah, essentially, wolf snake is really bad unless you're hitting very, very sharp timings where it's like when your opponent is going for a greedy third, or your opponent is like just about to get werewolves, so you have like a timing before the first werewolf is out, that sort of thing. Yeah, just in Beast versus Beast, tech 2 werewolves, tech 2 dragons, and you should win, is what I'm saying. Yeah, that's kind of my advice. I think this is going to be pretty much it for here. These snakes honestly just tickle werewolves, and that's it. I mean, Hydra you held, which is nice. I really think that Python, you're kind of throwing here. I feel like you definitely had so much army at home, like here. Like if you go down to more werewolves and stuff, I think you just totally crush. Also, if you had gone in initially, you would have totally crushed. What I think that you can do is you can go with your wolves, you go from the back and come in. Yeah, just something I would recommend. I'm also noticing that you're going for generally attack upgrades here, which makes sense if you're going for wolf snake. Once again, just the werewolf is just so good. I would have probably done like just more werewolves and armor upgrades instead, actually. But yeah, I guess it makes sense because you're going for these many snakes, but huge smash out of Hydra here. I've also noticed that you haven't been continuously producing werewolves. You've been producing like wolf snake out of your werewolf den as well, which allowed Hydra to actually hold and get the werewolf advantage. probably could have moved forward a little bit more there. I think here with the 4th base as well as the upgrade advantage, I think this is going to be it. You also went for the fortress, but didn't actually go for the for any of the fortress related stuff. I don't think so. No, no Dragon's Lair, no Wolf Speed, so. And also here we were oversaturated in our natural, with only 4 workers in our 3rd. But this is somehow doing a lot of damage. I really think this came down to Python not pushing in when he had the opportunity, and also not continuously building werewolves. Because werewolves, yeah, I've said it so many times, but werewolves are insane. You need more werewolves in this piece versus piece. That's a bit of a missed smash there. Doesn't really get too much. And also hold position working against yourself. That's a little bit unfortunate. I think this is definitely a bit of a throw on the side of Python here, but we got a 4th base on the way for Highdra, throwing down some more dens. Cool. I actually kind of want to see how bad it was for Python here, because it definitely wasn't looking like it was. It was looking like Python absolutely had it, but Hydra somehow held. I want to kind of see what happened there. I guess probably the biggest thing for me was not going in with that first werewolf. There's that supply block here. And there's a pretty big supply block. Like right now, if you go across the map, I think you just win. Yeah, so back to wolves after the first 2 werewolves. This is not good. You want to werewolves all the time and just go across. Yeah, more wolves again. And also, you kind of back off here. Yeah, and also going for the, I'd say probably the wrong set of upgrades in this matchup, I think, at least. Okay, let's move on to the other game. Gray Dust. I don't like this map. I haven't actually played on it too much, but I really don't like this map. I think there's a lot of potential for maybe abusing the middle of the map, but I don't know. We'll see how this goes. So there is, I haven't explored it too much, but there's argument to be made that you should wall this off, but a raider can flash across, so maybe not. I'm actually not exactly sure what the best wall off would be. And then also your natural, if you take this natural, this is like a third base that is kind of freely taken. It's a very interesting map. I'm not a huge fan of it. I haven't actually looked at it as well as I would have liked. But yeah, so it looks like Hydra has gone for the full wall, whereas Python has gone for a partial wall. So you do have to be wary that raiders can flash through, so it's not like a full wall. So some people might just forget and be like, oh, I don't have to worry about this at all. But yeah, that is not always the case. Alright, so it looks like we're taking the bases on the bottom side, which makes sense. We have a raider opening and archer opening here out of Python. So the raider comes in. I would have definitely liked to scout this first before going up into the main, just to check, is there a natural base? Because otherwise, you know, it's not ideal. I do like this wall here because this does mean that your opponent will not be able to flash across. So I would definitely, I like this. I do think this is very nice. The downside to that is that your natural base will be more exposed to stuff like 2den and stuff. But Python has already preemptively pulled some workers, which I don't think is a bad idea at all. We did go for a single raider opening, which I'm not a huge fan of, but I don't really mind. Looks like Python's being very defensive with these archers instead of coming back to deal with this. Does lose a worker a little bit. Definitely could have saved that if I think you were on top of the archers here. Yeah. So I'm not quite sure why you're spreading these archers out like this instead of going for it. I guess the idea is just gonna want to prevent him from, ooh, good flash. So okay, so you can flash it like that as well. Whoops, that was not the right button. So you can flash like that as well. So I guess this wall off isn't actually that good. Yeah, so probably not even worth it to wall it like this, because this wall will more or less do the same. Just this. This also could mean if you rally your Rex to this side somehow, your units might get trapped. Just be aware of that, I guess. But good escape out of Hydra. A little bit sloppy out of Python. I think you could have definitely defended that with your archers, with a little bit better army positioning and movement. Do want a talent transfer. Very nice. And it looks like this third base is more or less pretty free. I feel like Mech would be really good in this map. I feel like Beast would probably not. But like I guess Air would be not bad as well because of the short rush distance via air. Yeah, but either way, I don't really like this map at all. We have a bit of a push out of Python. Gonna wall this off at the high ground here. Once this one hex means that you're not going to be able to fit any catapults or ballista or Gatling guns. We're gonna go for a very quick mages guild. I would have preferred to keep this mages guild hidden in the back of the main or something, so that it's less likely to be scouted, and hopefully not scouted when it's unlikely that he's going to scout with an archer opening. Maybe he goes for a bird for the scouting, but either way, definitely would want to keep this a little bit more well hidden in my opinion. Also, where did that raider go? Here it is right now. It's going to get seen by the archers. Barely is able to flash away. Very nice. You can come up this way and flash across, I think. And you already know that you can flash across here, so. We have a fireball on the way, as well as a single mage and an additional mage shortly to follow, if I had to guess. No, I'm gonna go for these third racks first. I'm not sure how I feel about this build. I honestly am not a huge fan about it. Also, we have once again the worker production being not split correctly, but this is that's a little annoying. Oh, actually, this is a full wall and then a partial wall, so it requires 2 flashes to get in. So maybe this is not bad of a wall. Not exactly sure. There's that second flash. Here's the bird that's going to come in and is going to do the scouting. It's going to be a little bit annoying. Maybe you'll be able to deny it, maybe not. We have an airship on the way. I think, or sorry, an advanced workshop on the way. I think advanced workshop is just going to be really good here. I think most players will try to wall off this side. Looks like we're ignoring the bird and just going to go across the map. This is very risky to go up to attack with. I would maybe even think about, instead of going up this way, maybe go around and try to attack on this door or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, it seems like the third base basically is free as long as you hold this ground. And then this is, you have some time. I think mech would be really good, like I said previously. There's just very small choke points, like these ramps and stuff. Gonna be really hard. And the fact that Highdra, you gave him the high ground here is pretty big. Fireballs. Oh, that's a missed fireball there. But I think you still have enough with the fireballs. And then backing out away from fireballs is not good. You're taking extra damage. And that is an excellent fight for you. So I think you saw that there were mages with the bird python, and you didn't actually end up respecting them in a way. You kind of just went into them and then backed away, giving your opponent maximum damage. So definitely not ideal. Once again, Highdra not splitting the workers correctly. Definitely a StarCraft 2 thing. Well, generally what I like to do is, as soon as the castle finishes, so the first time, as soon as the castle finishes, you send 4 or 5 workers to your natural, and then you rally your castles to your individual worker gold mines. And then here, what I like to do when I take my third is I rally like 2 or 3 workers from each to the third, and then once again I have my castles at pointing to their respective gold mines. But hard to break old habits, as I have learned as I was trying to learn not Little War Game, Age of Empires. I have some friends that's a bit of a sloppy bird there. Kind of a bit of a donation here. Here, you generally in racks versus racks, if you do it for this sort of thing, you want to target down those important units, just as you did here, Highdra. Very, very nice. And I think that these mages are more or less kind of crushing. I like this spread that you have over here. I think that's very nice. Also like that you were targeting down that mage. And I also like that you didn't pull back too early. If you had pulled back too early, you might have taken a lot of fireball damage, but very nice. And then once again, probably want to try to target the mages here. Probably the high energy, and even just pulling some workers into this just to absolutely secure this would have been nice. Yeah, just pulling the workers just to secure this is a great idea, because workers are really good in this game. I've said this multiple times. Looks like the house went down just to a single raider. That's definitely unfortunate. Yeah. Here, I would probably even just take this mage and bring it all the way back to the high ground. Good target fire on that priest. You're going to pull the workers, but I think this is a little bit too late. Would have preferred to do, don't be afraid to pull workers is definitely something that a lot of people, kind of forget to do. I like the soldiers here, actually, just to add a little bit of buffer, but I feel like it was a little bit too late. If these soldiers had come in a little bit earlier, it might have been a little bit easier for you. You would have kept the mages alive, perhaps, but, yeah. Rewalling here, very nice. More racks on the way. Cool. And then with this advanced workshop, we haven't been able to do anything because we've been taking too much pressure here. So, makes sense, but definitely unfortunate. And yeah, once again, don't be afraid to pull workers as put in the war game here. You definitely want to pull workers because workers are really good. They're a really nice tank. They also the whole position is really nice. All that stuff. Yeah, but this is looking like it's gonna be more or less over. I like that you're gonna probably go for this base in the, or maybe even go for a cheeky wall off with that. But there's a bigger threat in front of your base. You just don't have the production to really deal with this, and I think the initial fight just after that kind of snowballed out of control. And yeah, here's that rally point issue that I was talking about previously. Python's gonna go for that castle in the middle of the map, but this is actually it's just a hidden base. Like some people might think, oh look, it's 2 gold mines, so it's double the income. It's not actually. It's kind of not that good. It's a bit of a bait, in my opinion. Good target fire on the mages, but it's gonna be a little bit too little, too late. Yeah, GG is called. Okay, so what went wrong here? I feel like Python, you moved into his side of the map when you knew the mages were out. And then also when you know mages are out, generally you want to go for some soldiers, because soldiers, they can tank a little bit more damage instead of the squishiness of the archers. So I think with the tools that you had, maybe if you could have done like a handful of soldiers, wait for him to try to come across the map, and maybe like drop the airship soldier on the back and try to get a nice surround and take down the mages from that side, something like that. I also do think that you didn't quite respect this push as well as you would have liked. You had that bird that was across the map that was scouting. If you had kept it alive, maybe you would have been able to see the additional racks come in, and yeah, that might have been a little bit helpful for you to deal with this push. On the side of Highdra, I feel like some of the things were really nice. I like the raider control, other than not checking the natural base at the beginning, of course. And then I feel like there was a little bit of an opportunity where you could have saved a little bit of your high-tech units a little bit when you were pushing. So maybe pull the mages back, let them regenerate instead of diving a little bit too deep. And then when he was diving a little bit too deep, like when he was initially attacking, I think there was an opportunity here for Python just to pull the workers and shut it down, regain the high ground here and go for it. But yeah, I really do think that this map is going to be really good for mech, so do be aware of it. Like these small little ramps, this is huge for mech. You're just not, as a beast or a Rax player, it's going to be really hard for you to like attack into or attack down these little choke points. So yeah, cool. Hopefully that was a little bit helpful. I think Highdra definitely just learning to do the worker split. I feel like that's something that's consistently been something. It's not a huge issue, but it's a small thing. It definitely does take a little bit of getting used to. Yeah, cool.